welcome back to the UIA Trusted Partners Podcast. On today's episode, I have Amy Watson, owner of MoValley Productions, LLC. Amy, how are we doing today?
I'm doing great.
I'm
super excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you on as well. I'm sure a lot of people probably will raise an eyebrow and go, well, you're having a video production on your podcast production? Isn't that a conflict? No, it's not a conflict of interest because what you do is fantastic work anyway.
Oh,
it's
thank you.
A lot different from what we're doing here on the show, but we're going to dive all the way through into that. I always like to start off the nice, easy question, though, from the get-go is, what got you into this line of work, and how long has MoValley Productions been around?
So MoValley Productions celebrated its 10th anniversary this year. So that was, yes, thank you.
I still keep making a joke about it. I need it.
Get that applause button. It's a huge feat that my husband and I, Sean Watson, were able to accomplish. Speaking of my husband, I think some of the listeners may know that my husband, Sean, passed away November of 23 from a rare brain cancer. And that was hard, you know, having your business partner and your husband just, gone in a matter of 10 weeks. So, but I decided that I was going to just continue on. I was gonna do MoValley Productions. I love doing MoValley. Like, I've always loved doing creative work. All of this kind of stems back to when I was in 8th grade. I wrote a play.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Yep. So as an 8th grader, you write what you know. And so I knew about clowning, which everybody's like, oh, boy. So not like a scary clown. I was a very friendly, happy clown. But I did do, for the longest time, probably a good 7 years, full makeup, costume, did some performing. I still do balloon animals for my children.
I gotta say that is part of the allure of what wanted me to get you on the show as well, because I see this in the beginning of your podcast or in your website description. It says, and I'm gonna quote it here so I don't misquote it here. Underneath your story, with a former burger pat-ear and a former clown found each other. So, and that is like right from the website. I loved that. I started laughing immediately because, again, I don't know if there's a more modern version of maybe star-crossed lovers. A clown and a burger pat-ear.
Of course. Well, we all have stories to tell, and that's really what MoValley Productions is about. With that play that I did back in 7th grade that sprung me into theater that I loved to do in high school all the way to college, I decided, I went to Doane College, now Doane University.
My, how it all changes.
Oh, yes. For about a year and a half, I went there and studied theater, and then I decided I wanted to switch gears, so I took a break for about 9 months and applied to UNL. And ended up getting into the film and new media program, which is where you get the opportunity to produce full productions of films. Yeah. So I got the opportunity from starting from the ground level to learn how to tell a narrative story. And we think all these movies, they just come together kind of a thing. They all have a formula.
Oh, yeah.
They have a way of telling how things should be happening at this specific page. It's all based off pages because each script page is 1 minute of filming, and that includes all the action, all these other things. And they use a unique format, different from a Word or any other kind of documentation. So just taking that history and just wanting to do more with it. My husband, Sean, his background was he grew up in Sioux City, Iowa, and he went to college for economics.
Okay.
But his 10th year of high school, his sophomore year of high school, he started to write, and he really loved it. And throughout the rest of his high school career, college, and then beyond, he started to really develop his path. And it's kind of interesting how we met because there is this lady, she's still around, her name's Sally Walker. She founded the Nebraska Writers Group, and Sean found out about it and decided he wanted to learn more about screenwriting. And they they allow people to develop their talent in poetry, screenwriting, and fiction writing. And it's still around today. It's at the Ralston Library.
Very cool.
Yeah. So if anybody is like, oh man, I really want to be a writer, I don't know how to start, I can get you connected. So I'm sure just reach out and we'll figure out how to get you involved.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so
it's I'm sitting here almost in awe because it's so paralleled to my time when I learned broadcasting at Northeast. That's a little bit more, hey, here's TV, here's radio, it's all jammed together, learn it. Where I knew a friend of mine who went to UNL later after he'd graduated for the sports program that they have over there for sports broadcasting. And what you were describing is almost identical to what processes he had went through for the sports side of things.
Nice.
Same thing with, running a highlight promo for the basketball game that's coming up, or making the UNL football hype up video. All of these follow a very specific format, a very particular formula, we'll call it that. And so it's very cool to kind of see that parallel doesn't just draw it at movies, screens. It's sports, it's live action. There's a lot that goes into it. So I'm kind of reliving some broadcast era in me here, listening to you kind of allude to how this all circularly came in together and how you and Sean kind of found each other and found the right career. Yeah,
and it's interesting because Sean at the time was doing, an everyday job type of a thing. And myself, I had dabbled into some of the commercials locally. I was working with the Wardrobe Union in Omaha, and being able to do the artsy type things. And then once we met at the Ralston Library, and I went there to work on a screenplay and everything like that. We just hit it off, kind of a thing. Now, if you ask my son how we met at the Ralston Library, we were in the romance section. We both reached for the same book, but I got it first, and then I hit him on the head with it. So, typical boy.
Typical romance story. I don't see anything wrong with that.
Yes, he was love struck.
That's exactly how it happens, kids. I love that. So I love that this is kind of just a big culmination of just the right moments, the right things, the right people at the right times, and it's progressed and built itself into the right line of work for you.
Yes.
I love that. I love when things can cascade to that effect. Obviously, it's not all that clean cut. Let's be real. Life is life. For all this great glitz and glam that you just heard, there was about 90% of it that was probably some struggles, some very bad, hard times, and some very not fun with each other times too.
Yeah. We were always a great couple. Everybody's like, "You guys are so great together," and I'm like, "Oh my gosh." Wait till you get home, Sean. You're right. It wasn't all like that because the first 5 years of MoValley Productions was a side gig, basically. We got married in 2013, and then in 2014, May of 2014, we formed the LLC for MoValley Productions.
Gotcha.
And then it was just slow going, getting clients. And we basically had to work a job for me 2.5 years. And then once our daughter came along, I decided that I wanted to stay home. And it was the best decision ever. And Sean was fully for it. So he continued on full-time working just to keep us afloat. And I worked on MoValley as much as I could. But I'd say about 2019, we decided, okay, we've done this for 5 years. Try to do this side gig. Let's try to do it full time. And getting into networking helped change everything. And so we found our audience, which is businesses. Yeah. So we've always done videos for nonprofits and businesses that, for profits. We've never done weddings. I couldn't do it.
I don't blame you. I have a friend of mine who's a wedding photographer.
Oh, man.
And he's like, yeah, I love them, but...
Yes, there's a huge but behind there. Yeah. You're scared that you miss a moment, and then the disappointment that follows.
Yeah.
But I have found when I'm trying to shoot, like, B-roll, which is, like, it's not the main focus of it.
It's the background shots that you see when somebody's talking over the word. Or
Yeah,
talking
that's
over
it.
The video. That's
Yeah.
usually what you're looking at.
Or one time we heard on the radio somebody say it's to cover up the ugly people that you don't want to see on screen. And we just died laughing.
I haven't heard that one, but that one is hilarious. I'm going to text a couple broadcast
Just
friends
to all
right
my
now.
clients, it legitimately helped tell your story. I promise
Yes.
it was not to cover anything up.
B-roll is always to just kind of give people the full perspective.
Yes.
That's a lot of what it is.
And I totally forgot what we're talking about. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
Yeah.
We were talking about different video productions in your line of work. You've stayed away from weddings. You've
Yes,
done
I stay- yeah.
nonprofits, all that fun stuff.
Yeah. So we have always wanted to help businesses tell their story, nonprofits, and we've been very successful with it.
Indeed.
When we've sat down with a new client, we love to hear their whole story. Not only what's your business story, but where do you come from?
Right.
How did you come about this? Are you, the original owner? Are you, a franchisee? Why did you feel the community needed a nonprofit that would serve this particular group of people? And it has just it's giving me goosebumps, to be honest. It's been such an honor to tell so many people's stories.
Yeah, and so many is an understatement. You've done quite a plethora of them, and I think that brings up a good transition point here to ask you, since we've already touched upon your 10-year anniversary, which applause button insert here. I do need one here. Yeah. First off, congratulations on 10 years.
Thank you.
That in itself is an impressive feat. Now, you did a fantastic and amazingly cool celebration to give back to the community. And this is all in the same light of what we were just talking about. So I'd love for you to see, or I guess maybe I'm just going to try to tease you or put the pressure on for us to get a tease here.
Of course.
What are some of those amazing, because if for those of you who don't know, a contest was held. I'll let you explain that.
Yeah.
And then maybe if we can get a preview of maybe a winner or two.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so with Sean's passing, the business community and beyond were so generous to my family. Time, talent, treasure, everything just was given to us, and I was just blown away. So I thought, you know what? How can I give back? It's our 10th anniversary. How can I honor Sean? How can I give back? All these things. So on July 10th, we threw a big party. All ages were invited. It was the Millard Business Association's after hours. I did what's called a video give back. I didn't want to say give away. I wanted to say I gave back. And the contest was people, as long as the business or nonprofit had been in business less than 5 years, they could apply. And they couldn't be a current client of mine or have been a current client.
Interesting, okay.
So those were really the only two stipulations. So they filled out a Google document that helped give me an idea of where they were at with their marketing and all these other interesting facts just to help me. And then I had 2 other people help decide who won. Once that was all done, we announced it at the 10th anniversary. So I do have the winners.
I didn't want to spoil anything too much. If you were saving these to be a big unveil, I didn't want to spoil anything.
Yes, I do have the winners. So the 3rd place winner was Nebraska Innovation Labs. And they are, all 3 of these just happen to be nonprofits, but they are a nonprofit that helps businesses, big and small, and startups with applications, software, that kind of thing.
Interesting. Okay, so a lot of that setup software and things that you're going to need to kind of get your business up and kind of running.
Yeah.
And I guess I should say probably model of business and kind of how you're trying to flow that website. These are the guys to come talk to.
It's not just a website, it's an app.
Okay.
So many times I'm sure there's people out there like, oh, I wish I could create an app that would make my life 10 times easier to run my business for blah, 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 or whatever. And then they look into it and they're just like, holy cow, this is a much more cost-effective way. So,
perfect.
Yeah, I know. I'm looking forward to diving into this more with Dylan Rosario, or Del Rosario is his last name. And what they received was called the Simple Social Package. So I have different packages that I offer to clients. Simple Social is vertical videos, 6 of them, that are meant for, you can just post them on your timeline, but a lot of times it's for stories or reels, and they're 20 seconds long. So it's just meant to like get that little nugget out there so people can get to know a little bit more, a little fact, because a lot of us are hungry for that quick, okay, I can do that, or okay, that's good to know kind of a situation. So that's what those 6 videos do, and they're helping you take a step into injecting video into your social media. So the one thing that Sean and I helped build with our whole video production company is we're trying to create videos that are evergreen, meaning they have a lifespan. Right. They're not a one-time use. They can be used.
Not extremely timely and, you only use it for October because it's Halloween.
Yep.
Right.
You know, we can definitely do that, but definitely. So that's what this was meant to do. Like, okay, I post it, and then you feel like you get more bang for your buck by reposting it maybe 6 months later. Right. Kind of a thing. So
I love that. And so that was the service you kind of offered back for the give back, or was this
that,
just them in particular?
That was them. Okay. So the next person, the second place winner, is called the Miss K Foundation, and this one's a hard one. Back in March of 22, Amanda Shook and her best friend Sarah, who was 9 months pregnant. I believe they were off 180th and Harrison, and they were coming back from a great night out, and a drunk driver plowed into them and instantly killed them.
Jeez.
So you think about that and you're just like, holy cow, you know, heartbreaking all around. So what their family has decided to do is honor Amanda. And Amanda's nickname was Miss K. And so they started the Miss K Foundation, and it's a scholarship fund for students that are attending Millard Public Schools their senior year that can apply within the realm of what she was doing. And she was a speech pathologist.
Oh, gotcha.
So
vocal careers and
something along those lines, you know, just to be able to, you know, they're just starting to build this foundation.
I just think how important that is too, because I remember, again, transitioning, trying to think back, you know, when I was in that college era and trying to think of grants and things to go apply for and try to think of. None of them were for broadcasting and vocal and anything of that nature. I'm just going to be blunt with you. None of them were. Unless I was going to do something with agriculture. I didn't care in the state of Nebraska.
I know.
So, no, that's great that they were able to turn such an unfortunate tragedy into something that's progressing the future.
Yes, definitely. And so with them, they got the 3 and 30 package. What that is it's a 3-minute video that basically tells a good portion of their story and gives you a good feel about who they are. And it's good for your website. And it can also be posted on social, but then it's cut down to 30 seconds.
Gotcha.
And that 30 seconds can be put into an ad, a paid ad, to get more information out there. You know, maybe to donate to them, or they just had their golf tournament. I think less than a week ago, honestly. Gotcha. And they're just trying at this point to raise funds and awareness of what they're doing. And I have talked to them a little bit more. I haven't had the official meeting with them, but when I have spoken to them, they're in contact with Millard Public Schools. And another foundation that I know really well is the Millard Business Community Foundation, Project We Care, that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah. They helped, so they're helping them there. So.
I love that. If they need a free platform to come on and talk about what they're doing, hey, the door's open, the microphone's on.
I love it. I will let them know to reach out to you.
They're, of course, more than invited. So we've gotten the third place and the second place, and we're third place Nebraska Innovations Lab. Second place, Miss K Foundation.
Yep,
Who was the big winner?
The big winner was Maker Omaha. Maker Omaha.
I think I've run into this gentleman somewhere.
Yes. So Maker Omaha is Zane Homan.
Yes, he actually, fun fact, before you dive into that, he presented at my Center Sphere group maybe a month and a half ago, 2 months ago.
Cool.
Yeah, so he had come out. He's like, hey, I'm just trying to get the word out. And I believe I put him in contact with Katie Ledoux at Sunflower.
Yes, I love that.
So, yeah, super nice guy. I'd love for you to go into what Maker is all about.
Yes, so Maker, which I want to spell it for you guys because...
M-A-K-R, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
M-A-K-R, so there's no E.
Yeah, it's...
and then Omaha.
It's not
if you don't ask about Omaha, then... No, I'm just kidding.
You don't want to spell Omaha, and I don't know how you're getting your mail.
That's it. So what their mission is to empower new and upcoming artists, makers, and programmers to span the arts and science gap in the inner city. And specifically, they're focusing on youth through the mentorship model and mobile workshops. And it was just like right up my alley. Like when I talked to the other two people that helped me decide who was gonna win and everything like that, I was like, well, this one's a no-brainer for me. Not that I was in that kind of situation, but I would love to have, if arts is what you want to do, like I have been blessed my whole life that my parents supported me to go do this. I found a spouse who was just as interested in it. Like there hasn't been the major roadblocks like some people have had. Don't get me wrong, my parents were like, okay, just make sure you find a job that can make you money. That supports you.
I remember hearing those words too. Like, you think that's okay.
Yeah, no, totally. And so, of course, with broadcasting, same thing. And it is a difficult field to get into. And some people think it's because I don't have the opportunity. It's more you have to make the opportunity in order to do what we do. That's what I loved about Maker Omaha, and I just look forward to having my meetings with these guys to find out more of how we can tell their story, how we can get them out there. And I will be doing like a Facebook follow along kind of a thing.
Fun.
Yes, like I'm working on trying to not only showcase these video packages, which their video package that they got is a monthly subscription. It's called Your Story Flow. You get 12 videos for 3 months. So each month you would get 4 videos, and they're 30 seconds long, and they can either be horizontal or vertical. And that's important to know what platform they're on.
Very true.
Because each platform is its own beast. And so whenever I meet with a client, I always ask them, what platforms are you on? What are you active on? What do you hope to be on? Because that does determine which way I'm going to edit. I always film horizontal, but because I can crop vertical. So that's a big package. And it helps to be consistent with your video. If you constantly are out there every week posting a video that helps tell their story. And with these guys, they are doing a fundraiser. They have it towards the bottom of their website that I thought, well, if they're one of the winners, this would be perfect for them because we can help with the fundraising, plus mix it in with evergreen content, like I mentioned.
Right.
So not all the videos are going to be just about that.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's a kind of a spread and healthy mix of it. It's, 1 or 2 might be in correlation to it, but the rest are going to be, like you said, the evergreen, the staples of, hey, you can upload these periodically.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And we try to help them with these are meant to be consistency, to help them with consistency. Right. So we tell them, okay, if you're going to do it on Facebook, best time is this. Because now you can type in when's the best time to post on this platform. And it tells you when traffic is mostly there. The other thing about this too, we tried to explain to people that when you get this package, you can definitely start with 3 months, and then if you want, we can sign again for another 3 months, or you can turn around and post them again, because either someone didn't see it, someone needs to hear the message again. Eventually you can't keep posting your same content, but you can do it at least twice and still get the mileage out of it, and then they can be on your website, which is very helpful too. So. Yeah, so with all of that, I highlighted some of our bigger packages that people have enjoyed, participating in and everything. And if you want to see samples of all of these packages, they're on my website.
Yep, I was just about to say, if they want a sneak peek at how these actually look and how these presentations go on, you do have a lot of video, different little clips on your website. You even have videos of you talking about the contest itself, which
Yes.
I think, realistically, I think business owners should actually go watch, if you ask me, because I don't think they understand having an addressing video or something like that of, hey, I'm the owner, I want to tell you about our story. Sometimes, and I'm sure you've run into it, you do not get very camera-friendly people to where they get very nervous or they get very uncomfortable around cameras and they can't present it well.
Yeah.
So I think watching your video would be very helpful because you're very paced, you're very methodical, it's not a rush. And I think a lot of people need to understand that when it comes to recording some of these difficulties and some of those challenges that they might have in their heads.
No, totally. One thing to let everybody know, thank you very much for that compliment, but that did take me about an hour and a half to film. It's only a 1-minute video, but I did do different takes, and I scripted out what I wanted to say. I didn't use a teleprompter. I do have a way to use teleprompting. But I chose to be more natural.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
Yep. And I think for anybody who's sitting there going, oh, you can just easily read off a teleprompter. You've never read off of a teleprompter before in your life. That is one of the most underrated skills I think I have, honestly, and that you probably have as well. Reading off a teleprompter is not easy.
It is not. It takes a little bit. And so I like to, Sean and I always allowed time to work with the clients because people they have different levels of nervousness. Some are just like, good. Some, they just clam up. They just didn't know what to say. They were scared.
As soon as that microphone comes out or that camera lens is shown, they deer in the headlights. They don't know what's going on.
It doesn't matter if you are like a pro at speaking out loud, introvert, extrovert, doesn't matter.
Nope.
You still are like, holy cow. I remember the only time I've ever been on radio. I was on radio once. They were asking us about the Omaha Film Festival. And I was like, okay, cool, I can do this.
Totally.
I got on there, I was like, hi, I'm, at the time I was Amy Lechtenberg, not Watson. I'm Amy Lechtenberg. And it was apparent, they were like, don't ask her any questions. Like, there was other people, thank goodness, that were being interviewed besides me, but I definitely didn't field any more questions.
No, and honestly, you'd be surprised. You probably wouldn't be surprised. You personally probably wouldn't be surprised how often that happens. Listeners at home might be surprised how much I ran into that as well.
I betcha.
I did 7 years of radio, anything live on location. I found the quickest way to be everybody's not friend real fast. You pull out a microphone and plug it into your phone and you look at somebody and they'll walk the other way.
It was just so nerve-wracking. And I think it was like, oh my gosh, it was on 1110 KFEB. So like they have quite an audience. And so you're just like, oh my gosh, how many people, this farmer in western Nebraska can hear me sound like an idiot.
I always find that so funny too. It's like, oh, well, I mean, come on, how hard is it be? You're just in a room talking to a microphone. It's like, no, it's what that microphone's talking to.
Yep.
Those, 15, 20,000 plus people, there might be a little nervous when it goes into it. But I still remember, just for my nervousness story, as one of the first and few times I was ever involved with TV. I went on and read a little segment. I think it was the Sioux City Channel 4 news.
Oh, wow.
We did a little field trip up there, and they'd asked me to read one of the news stories because I was our news director at the college, unfortunately. So I jump up there, and granted, I am a pretty social butterfly. I'm like you had described. I can jump into a seat and just start talking. However, it's a whole nother ballgame when it's like a full-on production and like there's cues and there's people like pretty much signaling around the room and telling people to move certain ways. It's very distracting, and I was not prepared for that. But I'd say okay.
Good.
I didn't have the. But I did have a couple of stumbles on one of the news stories. I believe it was the time there was a bombing that had happened.
Oh boy!
And the guy's name was like 15 characters long for his last name. Yeah, me being a college kid, really able to pull that one off. But I digress. that was not
this
the
guy,
best
alphabet soup name.
It really was. I did make the joke afterward. I was like, when you have more consonants in your name than you do vowels, it makes it really hard to pronounce your name. I would love to know. We've kind of shared our little, maybe embarrassing moments, if you want to call them that, or our fun blunders in the production world to make people realize we're human too, even though you do it for a living and I do this as part of my living. We still make mistakes. We're human. It happens all the time. And I think people knowing that, hey, that minute and 30-second video took over an hour to film and produce, and the time that goes into the video aspect of things, I think people need a refresher and like, hey, it is nice to hear that, yeah, it is hours of process to justify that 1 minute video.
Yes.
And I think sometimes that gets lost in translation because Holly Weird, it does what it does, and they say we can do things like that, and that's just not how it really works. But I'd love to know, thus far, for 10 years now,
boy,
I know, 10 years, and made you, wake you back up with the 10 years of doing this. What has been one of your favorite experiences that you've had?
My favorite experience?
Yeah, I'm so curious because I know you've met so many people.
Yeah, I would just say like the people has been wonderful. I've had the opportunity to film roofers and all these different, gosh, I'm trying to think.
No, I know it's kind of a tough question.
It is.
Again, I know you've worked with so many, nonprofits, businesses, people in general, that I know this was going to be a tough question to stance to you, because I think back in my time of radio, I couldn't pick one.
Yeah, I would say probably the one that has been my favorite, and they've hired Sean and I at least 4 different times, is Heart of a Child Ministries. Oh. And it's beautiful to see the transformation they've gone through. They were our first client, which was just like, wow. It started off with her daughter wanting to do something for moms that were in a crisis pregnancy situation.
Gotcha.
She wanted to raise money. And she came up with this beautiful idea for a prayer pillow. Oh, and now there's like 12 different versions of the prayer pillow. And the prayer pillow ministry is still present, but now it has transformed into bringing live ultrasounds to school-age children.
Oh, wow.
K through 12. So, and also adult programming, that kind of thing. Churches can have her come and do kind of a after hours type thing, and it's just such a beautiful way to show what's going on when a woman is pregnant. And so she does such a great job. She has guest speakers, she has doctors, she has nurses, she has a lot of people that are very skilled and knowledgeable in those sessions. She has a stenographer that is like trained. It's not just, yo, Amy, can you? Heck, if I know.
Notes.
That stenographer walks through like what the children see, and it's different every single time. We've filmed her presentations twice now, and she does that so people can see what she talks about, what she does, because not each grade, but like the grades are sectioned off.
The groupings, yeah.
And the younger kids get a basic understanding.
Exactly.
You can't talk about, and they never talk about how a child is made or anything like that. It's all within the realm of their understanding. And really that has been such a great transfer. She's stuck with us all these years and comes back. And in 2020, we were able to tell a whole bunch of people's stories about either their crisis pregnancy or they were pregnant and it was suggested to them that their child's not going to be perfect or healthy. Maybe you should think about a different option. And their child is 13 today and has beat the odds. Yep. Yes, he has issues, I guess you would say, but we all do.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that translates back to my conversation months ago with Kitty Burton with Heart Heroes. A lot of times it's the same kind of guidance, we'll call it, of, well, this kid's going to have massive problems. And so you're faced with very difficult decisions in very early parts of things. Yeah. So, no, I think that is a fantastic organization. I'm glad she's been with you for all those years. Yeah. And I love that you are able to real life and real time see the transition. Sometimes that gets lost to people, but it is always nice to have that reflective moment.
Yeah, so I would say that's been great. And then like other great stories that, I've met a couple of famous people, not many.
I've met a handful in my day, but
it's
again,
not about that.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the times that I've met those people are pretty like, yeah, okay, sure, we met. They're people. That's kind of how it almost feels sometimes when you think back on some of those famous encounters. They're just people.
Yeah.
They're just people that are just happen to be on a camera or on the screen.
And they're not the character that you're thinking at that moment, oh, I loved you in this. And they were like,
I guarantee
thanks.
if you run up to Keanu Reeves and say, oh my God, I love John Wick, you are going to be very disappointed.
Yes,
he is not John Wick in real life. However, he is a very down-to-earth human. I will say he is probably the shining example of, he's probably the closest to the real thing as you'll get, but... You know, he's not John Wick out here. Speaking of, did you know he's actually in a band?
I think maybe I had heard.
I thought it was a joke, right? They're actually coming to the Astro.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like August. I think it's in a couple of days.
It's in a couple of days.
When you hear this episode, it's already happened. I'm sorry you missed out, but I might have been there. But
that's cool.
Yeah, he's real life Bill from Bill and Ted. Like he is playing guitar.
That is so awesome.
Yeah, I'm just like, this is awesome. He is the coolest human on the planet.
And a lot of times actors, when they get roles, they may not know how to do something, but they have to learn it enough to fake it, because that's really what Hollywood is fake.
Absolutely. Did you ever see the movie Burnt or something like that with Bradley Cooper?
No, I don't think I have.
He spent, I think it was like 6 to 8 months training in Michelin star restaurants, shadowing the chefs so he could mirror them.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that is one of my little fun tidbits in my radio pastime here, that a lot of chefs have actually paid him compliment to how well he portrayed what real Michelin star chefs go through, how they behave, how they take it out on people. They're like, they pretty much captured what the real essence is of those very high caliber restaurants, which I think is so interesting, because then he's later gone on to be a cook. He has like his own things that he does. He does like pop-ups, I think.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, like he partners with a couple people do like restaurant work now. So I think that's so cool. Same with Jon Favreau. He directed all the Iron Man films. He was happy in them, if you know who I'm talking about.
Yes.
Yeah, he actually does restaurant work as well. Because he also had a movie that was stemmed off of a restaurant.
Yes, because he made like burgers and stuff. He had his son. I can't remember what it's called.
I can't remember the name of the movie, but
I love Jon Favreau in general.
He's a great actor.
Yes.
Very underrated, underappreciated actor.
Yes.
And the thing is, if you think about it, he's been in movies from like 2000s, very early 2000s up.
Way earlier than that.
Way earlier even.
So Sean's favorite movie was Rudy.
Okay, yeah.
Because he's a Notre Dame Fighting Irish through and through.
He's in it.
Everything. Yes, and oh my gosh.
No, I love it. And again, I know we went on a little side tangent there, but no, I think it all just kind of correlates back to connections you can make in this strange industry that you and I both can share here.
Very true.
I would love to know your thoughts on this, because I know when people come and talk to you, sometimes it's I don't really know what I want to do, or it's hey, kind of figure this out for me kind of thing.
Yep.
But I am curious, what are some things that you think people should know more about when it comes to hiring and working with a production company like yours?
Treat it like an interview process, you know?
Interesting. That's good advice.
Yeah, because first of all, you have to figure out if they're a good personality for you to work with. I'd like to say I could work with anyone.
But realism, that's not true. Like,
no.
If I'm too sheltered, we'll put it that way, and I can't open up to speak in front of that camera, there might be an issue.
Well, and it's true, but if you can get them to think about their why, you'd be amazed by how people just open up. They're like, my why is this. And
I've gotten a couple tough cookies on here to do that too, actually.
Yeah.
It's amazing how much the power of why will be like, oh yeah, well yeah, it's just my thing that I do on a daily basis, and they just go right into it like it's nothing. That's part of the process.
It is. As a business owner, you have to figure out what your why is. And then on top of that, what problems are you trying to solve for your customers? In my line of work, what's interesting is that I have to not only solve your problem, but I have to solve your client's problem or your customer's problem when it comes to the video.
Right.
So I'm feeling the need of, you need video, but what does that video look like so that it can become something that helps my customer client situation? And so that's what we talk about. Like, I have a questionnaire that I always send. I try to send it beforehand so that maybe they at least look at it. If they fill it out, great. If they don't, we fill it out in the process. A lot of times they don't think about budget.
Yeah, that can always play an unfortunate factor.
It is. Budget's hard. So the way it works, my packages do have a set price, but it depends on how many people you want interviewed.
Right.
I can only interview so many people in a day. On top of that, in a 3-minute video, which I try not to go beyond 3 minutes because it becomes too much for your audience, they're going to get in like 1 word. If you interview 10 people, it's like max 6 people. Well, then on top of that, like that includes in the pricing and stuff. But the different kinds of videos that I can do is full production, which means I do everything from start to finish with you. When I sit down, talk to you about that. We talk about your budget. I would say in Omaha, to get a decent video, you're looking at probably $1,500 to $2,000 or more. So if that's like, woo, it's because you're going to get the full production, and it has to do more with not so much the planning or even the day of the filming, it's the editing.
Yeah, I think, and that is something too that I think a lot of people have a hard time mentally picturing what takes so long. And I think that's an unfortunate discredit to editors and video editors and audio editors alike. I think that's an unfortunate discredit to them. As being somebody who has had to edit their own work in the past, I hate myself because I make so many errors on things that I have to edit so many things. Yeah. So I hate myself as the editor. Fortunately, I don't have to do that now, and I've cleaned up a lot of those mistakes.
Woo!
But if this was like a 30-second commercial and I'm trying to rattle this off for somebody, I'm going to make probably 2 or 3 mistakes. I might have a weird pause in there that I need to clean up and get rid of. There's just a lot of detail work, and a lot of people think you're getting too into it, you're too caught up in the weeds, or you're looking at the problem too closely. Sometimes, I'll admit it, yeah, sometimes that's a granted. But most of the times, those editors have to weed through those problems. They have to listen to everything back. They have to see everything back.
Yeah.
Because if they make a clip and they cut out this little 2-second fragment, but now all of a sudden the film doesn't line up, and now all of a sudden the audio sounds different.
Yeah.
Now there's a problem.
Yeah,
and now they have a bigger problem to fix. So I think, again, credits and shout-outs to the editors in the background for doing what you do. And unfortunately for the listeners at home, if it's hard to imagine, why don't you come on out sometime? And, we'll just Google a little tutorial of how to video edit and how long it averagely takes somebody.
Yeah.
Because it is one of those processes that it takes the most amount of time because they have to do all of that raw footage, all that raw information, they have to iron it flat and present it to a group of people that are going to eat it up. So
exactly.
I think a lot of it is just so overlooked and so brushed under the rug. I just wanted to give a little segment about them real quick.
Yeah.
Give them their due credit where that's
definitely, because a lot of times you don't see the editors. I had the privilege of meeting Ron Howard's editor that lived in Omaha. He grew up with my uncle and went to school with him and everything. And the one question I asked him, I'm like, so, what's the most interesting thing that's ever happened or whatever? And he talked about how for Cinderella Man, so Ron Howard directed Cinderella Man. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I can't say it. It's the best princess of all, and I can't even. But that film's nothing about the Disney version. Anyways, so he was talking about how in one of the scenes when they were filming, Russell Crowe broke his hand. And in my mind, back when I was doing, like early film production, I'm like, okay, so they replaced him. And he laughed at me and said, no, you do not replace Russell Crowe. No. In many ways, he will annihilate you in general. So it was just really interesting to hear about, from an editor's perspective, what do you want, what should you be looking for when you're looking at these cuts? And everything. And I do have to say, compared to 10 years ago to today, I'm a better editor, I'm a better videographer, producer.
Technology's helped us a lot with that.
Yes, my husband Sean would say he's a better writer. And AI is starting to do a lot of different things too that can help people edit. And so that's another thing that I'm not ignoring and I'm not shying away, because you have to embrace these things, because you're just gonna be left in the dust.
Right, and then it'll be around you, and you won't know what to do. So Don't put yourself in that situation.
You know, but the one thing that AI does not have is a brain.
That's true.
It guesses.
It's just algorithm predictability.
Yeah, so it might be a good jumping off point to start something, but still use your human
use your human self.
human self, to really make it happen and come together. So
no, I love that. And it just, while you were giving the example of Russell Crowe, I thought of the example that a lot of people kind of know nowadays, but probably haven't really ever seen it if you're not a big Star Wars nerd. The original Star Wars, the main actor, I'm drawing a blank on his name, Mark Hamill.
Oh, yeah.
When he was playing Luke Skywalker, one of the movies, I forget which one it is, he actually got into a very bad car accident. And so it's where he gets attacked by the Tauntaun, or that big, the Yeti thing that kills his Tauntaun.
Yeah.
And he has those marks on his face afterward.
Oh, that's right.
That's actually from a car wreck that he was in.
Oh, geez.
They had to implement it into the movie because there was no makeup in it because of how severe it was.
Oh, geez.
So he actually, fun fact, he thought he was going to lose his role as Luke Skywalker because he got in this car accident. He had scar damage now on his face. So they just, again, creative writing, creative thinking, and quick on his feet, George Lucas said, well, no, let's just have you get attacked. Simple solution, but again, just thinking of the adaptability, how hard it was to do a course like that on the fly and just be like, okay, well, now we've got to think of a scene to shoot that this makes sense.
Yeah.
So again, creative writing, the editing process, all these weird things that come together to make something so perfect and just what you want to see. There's a lot of time, a lot of dedication, a lot of passion that goes into it because, again, you have to have the eye for it, you have to have the ear for it, and you have to be able to convey that to somebody.
Yes. Yeah. And even with Star Wars, it wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if people are aware how close it was. It was going to be shut down a couple times. So
that budget was paper thin.
Yeah. And then here you are,
Your main star gets in a car accident, and it's like, well,
we're going to write a script. We're going to change this. You're not going anywhere, man.
Yeah.
We already filmed this. So anyway.
Yeah, so there is like little nuances if you can catch it in that movie. I forget if it's like the second or the third one that happens to him in. But if you can catch it early enough, how they've shot sequences into something that you would probably pick up as well, there are early scenes you see him with the scars, and there are later scenes you see him without it. But again, film continuity and how you film things and when play a big role into things. So again, that's being timely with your process is a big importance.
Yeah.
When you do something like this for companies and businesses and nonprofits.
Yeah.
Just for the sheer continuity of the video.
Yeah, definitely. And actually, I try to get the most out of the time that I get to sit down and interview these guys. What I usually like to do is we talk about obviously what they want for that video package, but then I say, well, is there any other questions we should ask for future videos?
Yep.
Because if you do that, all you're paying for then is editing, not filming.
True.
So that's how I like to work with my clients is not only am I talking to you now, let's film it. If you have a question that you really want eventually out there for the public, let's do it.
Yeah, build on that.
And I've had several clients come back and say, okay, it's time. I would like to do this. How much would it cost? And it's significantly less than having me come and set up my equipment.
Yeah.
And
just the time alone, I could think, let alone hauling all the equipment. Again, somebody out there might know our struggles, but there's a lot of people out there that don't understand how awkward camera equipment is and can be.
And time consuming to set up to make sure it looks good.
You'd be amazed how silly a stupid tripod takes to set up and have it be level.
Tripods are the bane of my existence.
They're the bane, but that's all we have.
It's what we have to have. I can't find the right tripod. Like, it just upsets me.
We're in the same boat.
Okay, yep.
No, you're in the same boat as us because we ordered one. The tripod, we set it all up. I get it all up and ready, put it all together. There's a level bubble on the tripod base of it, but not on the movable head. So I'm like, okay, so what's the point of that?
Yeah,
there's
totally.
No point. So yeah,
or you can't see the bubble because it's on the other side. Yeah, I have 4 tripods at home, and I like rock paper scissors as to which one I want to use because they make me so angry.
$1 billion idea out there waiting. If you can make a tripod that broadcasters don't hate, you've got a
and filmmakers. Yeah. Maybe there's a filmmaker out there that can tell me.
Broadcasters, everybody.
Yeah.
You can find one that we don't hate.
And I've bought like high-end
Yeah.
It doesn't
matter. Oh, it's so frustrating. Yes.
The troubles we live in.
But it feeds right into my next question for you, though, almost perfectly, and that is challenges in today's world. We all have them. Each business has their own unique ones. I am curious, what are the ones that you're faced with? What are some of those toughest challenges that you're kind of coming up against? And how are you navigating those for your clients?
So probably the hardest, and it's not always hard, is educating people about video.
I get that, though. Yeah.
That's really what it is. A lot of times, it's not that they don't think they need it. They just don't understand how it could really benefit them, how it could help them with their pain points, how it could help them tell their story. And so Sean and I discovered this years ago. And so what we did was we took a tour around Centersphere and did presentations on how the videos can help your marketing and your social media.
Right.
And so that's what we've been doing. And it seems now, especially with 2020, I hate to bring it up, people figured out how important video is.
Very much so.
It helped make their business, continue to function.
I think that, honestly, that was a big tide change. I think a lot of companies and businesses, they understand the social media. They know it exists. They see YouTube. They know it exists. None of them touched it.
Yep.
Until they were forced to, almost. And then after that point, they realized how much, we should have been doing this 2 years earlier, 3 years earlier. And I think that's a credit to what we'd alluded to earlier with AI. You got to be open to your options. You don't have to outright accept it right this moment. And you don't have to deny it or reject it this moment. But be open to it when it's to that point of being implemented and being a practicality.
Yeah, definitely. And that's exactly what we tried to help people. We were planting seeds because there's been people who are like, especially after Sean passed, I remember you guys, you came 2 years ago, 2 years, you came and you spoke and you told us about this and everything, and I'll be in touch. And Sean always liked to say we were planting seeds that eventually, if you water them enough and
give them enough care.
Yeah, definitely. And to say that my social media has a whole bunch of video in it and everything, our website does.
Yeah.
I felt, if we're going to be a video production company, we better have some video on our website.
Maybe.
And it's all unique. Like, it's all different people that just kind of showcase every single little thing, just so that you understand. We wanted our website to educate. Like, when I say, what's a DIY video? Well, we all know it's do it yourself. So what you can do is you can film yourself on your camera, you can send it to me, and I can pretty it up, and I can put your logo with it. I can reframe it, I can colorize it, fix the sound so you sound great, and send it back to you, and then you feel confident to post it.
Right. And I'll give you a little spoiler in the backgrounds. If you ever hear those little perfect radio commercials, those guys don't sound like that in real life.
I betcha.
So I'll tell you a little secret there. Now, a lot of times, it's going to be pretty true to your voice.
Yes.
That editing, when I think of here, we're going to edit your voice to help you be a little louder. There's a little program on Adobe that we used to run, was Limiter and Dynamics. Were the two programs that we would set on it. So that way it would give the full body effect to your voice if you didn't have it. And then it would help those people who may be soft-spoken be a little bit louder. They could still have their genuine soft-spokenness to them, but be able to be heard.
Yeah, definitely. Or like, you're filming outside in traffic, or a lot of times that's what I'm eliminating. Or every room has a sound. We were talking about this.
Oh, yeah.
I call it room tone in the film industry. It's where you record it and you just record the sound of the room. And that's deadly on radio. If you hear the sound of the room, they're like, oh, did it go away?
If you hear the sound of the room on the radio, there's a radio DJ sprinting from the back of the building, moving people out of his way to get back into the booth.
Very true. Very true. So like those kind of things, just trying to educate and help them understand what the possibilities they could have. I do motion graphic videos. It's not animation, but it is graphics that move. And they may get smaller, or they may morph, or they'll leave the screen or something like that. And it's a great way to tell a story. The best example was Rejuvenating Women asked us to make them a video. Well, none of their women, and totally understandable, want to be, if you know what Rejuvenating Women is, they're a house that helps women that are...
Rejuvenating Wings?
Oh, that's right, Restored Wings.
Restored Wings.
They're now Restored Wings. At the time they... Yeah.
They were just on the program, so that's why I wanted to clarify.
Oh, good job.
Yes, so Restored Wings and the Set Me Free project actually both were.
Oh, both of them. Yep. Oh, I love the Set Me Free. I love them both. Like, I love what they do. Like, it's amazing what they do.
It's awesome what they do. It's unfortunate that they exist.
Yes. So it has to do with human trafficking, whether it's labor or sex trafficking. And they wanted a video that told a little bit about them. Signs of how you can see if someone is being sex trafficked. Some words I can't say today, and I'm glad I don't have to say that word.
The words are hard sometimes, so it's okay.
And so I did a motion graphic video with their color scheme, and they were just like, "This is amazing!" It's still got the point across. And I've had people, they have an event and all they do is take photos, and there's nothing wrong with taking photos. That's awesome. But then it's like, what do we do with them?
Put them in a video.
Yeah.
Put it in some sequence where they can fade in and out, slide to each other, give it a little bit of body, so to speak.
Yep. And that helps tell your story too of the event. If this is a recurring event, it's a great way to do it again for next year to like promote it.
Right.
I also can film live events.
Yep.
So somebody talking, like I was talking about Nikki Schaefer earlier, she had us film her presentations twice. It takes a little bit more of a crew, but when you're done with it, it's pretty awesome. And then on top of that, when you film something like a presentation, whether it's 5 to an hour, long presentation, you take those snippets, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, you got social media for months that are just perfect to be able to be used. So video is so dynamic that you can have it where we're very set and controlled. You can go live. Like, I encourage people, just do it. Go live.
I do too.
It's
way better, and it's not as scary as you think.
Yeah, they get to know you.
Yeah. And I love when people are so nervous about going live on something because like, well, what if I say the wrong thing, or what if I do something, or what if I? Is that you? Are you sometimes quirky and goofy and silly and fun? Like, yeah, let it speak sometimes. And I think people have this weird concept of business that everything has to be brass tacks all the time. You have to be black and white, and you have to be focused all the time. And it's fun. It's not business. That's a complete fallacy. I think 2020 was a big teardown of that. You don't have to be business all the time. You need to be business when it matters. Yeah. And I think that's a big awakening in the job world that's happened. And I'm loving that it's being expanded on, and people are allowed to be more of themselves when it's coming to their business. And that's a good thing.
Yes.
So I love seeing that. Now, before we get into the personal side of things and wrap up the show here, I got one final question here.
Yeah.
Are you ready for it?
I think so.
Are you ready? It's the burning one of all time. No, I'm just kidding. What makes you proud or excited to do what you do?
Just the creativity portion of it. Every day it's different. Every project is different, and it's fun. Like, I have that kind of brain where I like that kind of movement. Yep. I've also had the opportunity to be invited to my clients' events where they show the video that we produced, and I get audience reactions, and it's just like crazy to be like, wow, we did this. Because Sean and I actually have produced our own videos, our narrative films. It's actually on MoValleyProductions.com. And we did get to be in the big theater to see, for one of them, Mouse Turds and Memories, to hear what the audience thought. And that is huge. Yeah.
To be a fly on the wall, so to speak.
Yeah, because usually people are just watching it on their phone, and either they're scrolling by or maybe they'll stop, they'll pay attention, and then you don't know what kind of reaction they have. So that has been amazing. It's great to hear that, thousands and thousands of people have watched these videos, and a client is calling up and saying, hey, we put our video out, we did an ad with it, and within a week we had people walking through our door saying, this video helped bring me in here. I mean, all these awesome things that we're doing. Like, I feel like sometimes with video, it's an investment, and when you do investing, it's risky.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing is, you can tell people exactly how things should work and what this can do. It is not this will do, this will work. It's, again, it is a gamble in certain regards. I think almost all forms of media can be in that same essence at that point. Because realistically, if I go onto the radio, I put on a 30-second commercial, no different than running a 30-second TV ad. I have a chance that people see it that I want for my business. I also have a high chance that they don't. So again, it's good to have perspective in mind when it's coming down to, what this will / can do, and having those realistic expectations, which is why you talk to a professional like Amy Watson at MoValley Productions.
That's me.
That's her. Now, Amy, before we switch up to the personal side of things and get wrapping up on the show, is there anything else you'd like the listeners to know? Maybe the best place to find you guys?
Yeah, definitely. The best place to reach out to me is my website, which is MoValleyProductions.com. There's a phone number there that you can call. There's a question and answer that you can fill out, and it gets sent to me, and I'll reach out to you. And basically, our first meeting is just a get-to-know-you meeting, what your video needs are, and then from there, we jump into what pricing looks like, and then from pricing, we sign a contract, and from that contract, we produce and edit, and then you get your video or videos.
Keep that in mind. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so...
Yep, and then, of course, social medias?
Yes, social media. I'm on Facebook, and I always forget this one.
Instagram, LinkedIn,
LinkedIn.
Twitter.
I am on Instagram too. I'm not as active on Instagram.
That's one we're trying to grow as well. It's one of those that it feels like it's just tagged with Facebook almost.
Yeah.
It's just kind of packaged as the same. So it's one we're trying to expand on as well. So no shame there.
Okay, good. Whew. But yeah, LinkedIn, there's MoValley, and then my personal profile, Amy Watson, that you can reach out to. My husband's social media is all active still, but I wouldn't reach out to him. If you get a response from him, tell him that I love him. No. And he needs to come home and take out the trash. It's ridiculous. It's my job now.
No shirking off here. I love it. Amy, again, thank you again so much for your time coming on, talking about MoValley Productions. Again, this has been Amy Watson, the owner of MoValley Productions. Having an opportunity to sit down with us, hang out, and chat. This has been long overdue. Yes. Our schedules have been bouncing back and forth with each other, so I'm super happy that we finally
Yes, I'm so thankful I was able to be here.
Now, to wrap up the show, I love saying I flip the side of the coin. We've been all business, all professional, sort of. And I like to wrap up with the personal side of things, the getting to know the person behind the microphone that I'm talking to. And I always like to ask the easy one right off the bat. I'm a summer child at heart. I love summertime. I hate winter. It hurts my face. It hurts the air to breathe. I just hate it.
You're in the wrong state, buddy.
I've been in the wrong state for 29 years, 30 years of my life now. But I love the summertime here. As hot as it gets, I still love it. I know I'm the minority and the weirdo in that category, but I'd love to know what's something that you look forward to either in the summer or the fall that you do with family. Maybe it's something that you personally just, hey, this is my thing that I get to do.
Unfortunately, our year has changed so much.
Right.
We had some traditions that we did that probably will switch up this year. One thing that I did do, which was good for my mom and my children, is I just got back from a trip where we visited my mom's side of the family in Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, and parts of New Jersey. And so it was a whirlwind of 2 weeks, but my kids got to experience a lot of different things. My mom got to talk to her brothers and sisters that some of them she hasn't seen for years. And so it was just a really awesome trip that on so many levels was good for all of us.
I love that.
Yeah.
Now, I always make the joke that here in Omaha, we are spoiled. There is so much to do, so much to eat, so much to try.
Yes.
So I always love to ask the questions across from me. What's your Mount Rushmore of Omaha? At least current Mount Rushmore.
My current Mount Rushmore. Okay, so Dinker's Bar and Grill.
Okay, you're the first one to ever say Dinker's.
Oh, my gosh.
All right. We're off to a hot start here.
Yay. So what's hilarious about Dinker's is I have driven past it all the times that I drove down to the Orpheum to work in the Wardrobe Union. And I'm like, what is that place? I really should check it out. And one day we were doing a voiceover with one of our clients, and they were like, we're going to Dinkers. And I'm like, what is Dinkers? Tell me about it. She's like, it's like the best burger place ever. And so I was like, okay. So we went there with our kids, and it was amazing. Like, it really is one of the top burgers. I know we have a lot of good burger joints.
So that's putting it up in some high praise.
Yeah. So
Dinkers, you got a lot to live up to when I walk in there.
Dinkers, but make sure you bring cash. Because they only accept cash only. I don't know what that means. You know what I mean? They don't want to pay the credit card fees or something like that. But
they are expensive on those machines.
I know.
So, hey, I don't blame them. It's very odd to see an all-cash business still in this.
Yeah,
this
I know.
Era,
I know.
Sure.
They do have a cash machine there, but be prepared to bring your own cash. They're not. They're reasonably priced.
They are, and it's delicious.
Yes, it's so you've been to Dinkers.
I'm pretty as you're describing. I'm like, I have been here because it's a bar that you walk all the way to the back. There's an ATM to the left. You order your food and pick it up to the right.
And if it's packed, you have to sit on someone's lap to get to the ATM.
Yep. You're in
so bring your money unless you want a new friend. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, if you want some new friends, you might just make one by sitting on the shoulder.
This is true. And then for my kids, I would say the Imaginarium.
Oh,
that's pretty cool. And then there's a free playground that's next to it that is just amazing. And they have real bathrooms outside.
Oh,
so it's
good.
like, heaven, because you don't have to go to the bathroom in a porta potty.
Yeah, I think if everybody can avoid those, they usually will. I love that. So something for the kids in there. Dinkers, of course, fantastic food. Anything else that you want to throw into that list before we wrap up the show?
No, I think this has been an awesome hour, 3 hours. I don't know.
Just a little past an hour today, but
fancy.
Yeah, nothing too bad as far as episode time length goes. I was more than happy to have you on here, and I'm more than happy to always let productions go as long as they need to.
Wonderful.
That's one of the big things here on the UIA Trusted Partner Podcast that we love to do. It's basically it's a spotlight for you guys and what you do and the why. So I'm happy to have you on here. It was long in the works to get you finally on here, but again, a fun trip out, and you got to experience a fun experience, and then on top of that, work settled down just enough to get you in the door, so we snagged you. And I'm looking forward to the final version of this, not only from our side, but I know some works will be done on your side of things, so I'm curious and excited to see that.
Yeah, no, definitely, and I really thank you so much. It's been so much fun. I'm glad. I try to make it as fun as possible while still getting your point across for what you do. Yeah.
Why you do it. So, again, we've had the distinct pleasure and opportunity to sit down with Amy Watson, the owner of MoValley Productions. Go online, check them out today, and reach on out the next time that you need some video production needs taken care of for your business, your nonprofit, or maybe even just for yourself. Reach on out. That's MoValley Productions. And of course, this has been the UIA Trusted Partners Podcast, and we'll have more next time.